Good evening, viewers and listeners, and welcome to another edition of Serving the People, brought to you by the Democratic Republican Party of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the DRP. I'm your host and the founder and political leader of the DRP, Mrs. Anissa Batiste. Now please let us start, as is usual, with a word of prayer. Dear Father in heaven, do help us that as we speak the truth to the people, that they may understand and be enlightened about the wonderful and workable plans that the DRP has for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that they may be inspired to support this alternative of hope, which works for the protection of the inalienable rights and freedoms of all people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In Jesus' name I ask these mercies of you with thanksgiving. Amen. And now, dear viewers and listeners, remember that if you wish to contact us, you may call us, you may send a WhatsApp message, Viber, IMO at 528-1015. That's 528-1015. In this evening's program, we want to continue to share with you our positions, our policies, our plans on various aspects of our nation and of your lives here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Remember, we are offering to you candidates for the next general elections, the upcoming general elections. We have a few persons on the ground, and we are still also scouting for candidates, and we are asking you that if you're interested in participating in our democratic methods on a DRP ticket, or if you know someone who is willing and who will make a good candidate for your constituency, you may contact us at the number on your screen, 528-1015, to make such recommendations to us. We are very willing. We will meet with that person or those persons. We will talk with them, and we will train them and work together to give St. Vincent and the Grenadines a better situation going forward. Before we go into this evening's issue, because we want to look at the issue of the DRP's position when it comes to the development of airport in the country, namely the taking a look at the international airport, the Argyle International Airport. We want to show you what we have done concerning this project, the interest we have shown in it over the years, and also where we stand currently. And we want to talk also about a little bit about tourism and agriculture and industry plans, which we intend to develop in a strong way in order to maximize the potential of the International Airport Project. Before I go into that, however, let me just make an announcement, which I hope to repeat at the end of the program. On Monday, the 8th of June, that's Monday coming, from about 6:30 p.m. there will be a debate taking place at the auditorium of the University of the West Indies Open Campus in Kingstown. This is being put on by the revived Debating Society, the revived National Debating Society, and they will be hosting a debate looking at the question of whether or not a third party is needed in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I, Anissa Batiste, political leader of the DRP, I am one of the panelists. I, Anissa Batiste, political leader of the DRP, I am one of the panelists for this debate. Mr. Calvin Lamkin, who is also a member of the National Debating Society, is also a panelist. So we will be looking at this topic, and I am inviting you, the public, if you're in neighboring areas and you would like to come out to this debate on Monday the 8th, that's Monday coming, from 6:30 p.m. at the UE Auditorium in Kingstown. And now, let's talk about airport, tourism, agriculture. First of all, I want to make the point that the DRP, since we were formed, since I announced it in August 2012, we have paid attention to what is happening with respect to the Argyle International Airport. And the first evidence I want to give you of this attention we have paid is the very first visit we took to the site and had a tour facilitated by Communications Officer of the International Airport Development Company, the IADC, Ms. Jennifer Richardson. Take a look at this footage from July 2013. Take a look.
On this particular tour, we were graced with the presence of Anicia Batiste, founder and head of the newly formed Democratic Republican Party and Friends, other local visitors, and a few from the UK. Throughout the tour, the group showed interest in the development of the airport and in what was being said to them. It was also an excited one as persons sought clarifications and confirmations in some instances and also expressed satisfaction with what is happening at the site. Our first stop on the tour was in a strategic area where our guests were able to get a good view of the airside or the front of the terminal building.
We call this the airside because when you're coming in over the ocean and you're going to land, this is what you see first. So this is the front of the building. We have 3 floors. So we have the very ground floor. If you're in America, you will not call that the first floor, you call that the ground floor. But here we refer to the ground floor as the first floor. So we got 3 floors. So we have the ground floor there, the second floor, which you will see a lot better when we get behind it. And then the very top, we have a mezzanine floor. Okay? On this side of the building, we have our domestic terminal. By domestic, all the traffic going to the Grenadines and coming from the Grenadines would utilize this side of the building. Everything else from Liat going up, we'll use the international terminal, which is all of that rest of the building going that way.
Just in case you're wondering, it was not a one-way conversation, as persons had questions of their own.
Concerns raised with respect to the readiness or the fitness of this site and where we are here to deal with the wind challenges. What do you have to say?
We hear the concerns every day. I tell people there really isn't a need to be concerned about it because we are doing what needs to be done to ensure that the airport is safe for everybody who's going to fly in here. What has happened, even before we started work on the airport, the wind stations were set up, and basically it's to monitor the wind at Argyle. Now every airport has crosswinds, some stronger than others. So we have crosswinds, but how strong are they, and are they strong enough to impact small aircraft? We know they want to impact the larger ones, so the problem now is with the small aircraft. What we are doing is gathering the wind data to tell us whether the crosswind out here is strong enough to impact small aircraft. We have 3 stations, one on the northern end of the site, one over at our office, which is a full weather station. It doesn't just measure the wind, it's a full weather station. And we have a wind station over on this side, on the southern end. And the wind data is being collected daily and being analyzed. So far, it is not showing that we would need to build a crosswind runway for smaller planes. But we have to wait until it's finished, fully finished, to make that determination. Once that is made, if we have to put in a crosswind runway, it will go in because it has been budgeted for and planned. So it will go in. If we don't need it, then better for us, less money to spend. We don't need it.
We've been hearing that they're going to finish in 2014. Are we still there?
We ain't there yet, but we're getting there, right? That's the plan. And if you don't have an objective, there's nothing to work to, right? So that's what we're working to, 2014. Now, originally when we pushed the date back, we were looking to have operations in July of 2014. That's not going to happen because if you notice, we don't have the asphalt and the concrete plants yet, and those will take us down a few months. So rather than operations in July, we're looking to have the work finished in July and have operations later that year. So hopefully by Christmas, we'll be able to fly people in, hopefully. That's the plan. Keep your fingers crossed. I mean, many things could happen to upset the plan, but that is the plan we're working with.
In the meantime, work on the construction of the Argyle International Airport continues on both sides of the site.
Yes, my dear viewers, you would have seen our interaction there, not only attending the tour, but also posing questions. And you would have also heard questions from another person who was concerned about the timing. It is evident that the airport's completion has not met the times that were stated in the past and in recent past. But we wanted to share the facts with you because we're not talking from hearsay. We were there, We went, we asked questions, we took notes, and we can bring this footage to you. By the way, the clip that I just showed you is compliments the IADC, who records their tours and who had put this tour on their YouTube site, and we were able to get it from there. Also, we took 3 other tours since July 2013. But before I show you some footage, namely pictures of our other visits, take a look at this brief footage of me, Anissa Batiste, answering a question at a town hall meeting which the DRP held in New York in October 2013. And in this question, I was asked a few things. I was asked about what we will do about GMOs, and I was also asked about the DRP's plans for the international airport subject to its completion. So take a look at the answer which I gave, which represents, generally speaking, the DRP's position.
Yes, you touched on some areas that I wanted to look at, but I want to touch on one area basically of your visions for the country. But I want to begin by kind of looking at the GMOs. And there was a lady, an Indian pioneer, who says that there's a multi-corporation, Monsanto, who is globally buying seeds, destroying the seeds, so that they can make GMOs, which must be bought from them annually. In light of that, what are your visions for St. Vincent to fight against multi-corporations like Monsanto in getting real seeds in the ground to continue? What are your visions for St. Vincent post the Argyle International Airport? How do you see tourism taking forward, and how do you plan to make sure that St. Vincent is growing and not just an agro-based industry country?
Okay. Your concerns about Monsanto and mine are the same. And this is why I talked about a seed registry and a chemical registry and monitoring. Because through that, the truth is I wish the current government would do that on now. Because we need to know where our seeds are coming from. And if we could ensure we still have the local seeds that haven't been affected, then we could make sure we multiply them and we save them, so that we're not affected in any large way by what Monsanto and other corporations are doing. So having a seed registry that is monitored and supervised will be very important in addressing that issue that you raised. Well, if I were to be given the opportunity to govern from 2015, if that's when elections are called, or when the next elections are called, that would be a priority for me. I also want to repeat that there are a lot of countries concerned about that issue now. And there are markets out there who would find us special and interesting to buy from if we would preserve ourselves in that area. With respect to the issue of the international airport, and what is my vision post the Argyle International Airport and tourism as well, I believe, and I've said it in the public in St. Vincent and Grenadines, that the Argyle International Airport, in order for it to work and work properly to our benefit and not our fault, we have to develop the economy in such a way that we have use for it. In other words, we have to pursue, whether it be certain kinds of factories and development, where we could do a lot of exporting. I don't I'm serious. We have to think unorthodox and interesting and effective ways, things that are going to make things stand out and cause people to want to come. But apart from that, we have to do more in the area of production for export. That is going to make the airport work a lot better than what I'm currently hearing. So I do think that an international airport can help us. However, it has to be managed properly. Let me make a statement here concerning that project. We have gone far already with the Argyle International Airport. We have loans, we have debts. I do not support the idea of putting a halt to it. It makes no sense. It will cost us more in the long run. You have to look and see how we can make it work. I spoke to persons before I came and visited the airport. I have photos of a tour I took. And I'm aware of the concerns. The Vincentians have legitimate concerns about it. They have concerns about the time frame we are being told it will end. I was surprised to hear the Prime Minister say last week that around this time, because the last time I went on a tour, the communications person said by December 2014 it will be operationalized. Maybe they think it will be finished sooner. But the communications person also told us on the tour that a lot will depend on how soon we get the material we need and how soon we can get things done. So even though they have a date in mind, they're also cognizant of the fact that they're still looking at potentially a later time depending on how things happen. Okay? And I've spoken to persons about the project, I've expressed my concerns, I've asked questions about the crosswinds, I've asked questions about feasibility studies and so on. And I'm advised in a way that suggests that everything is okay. Well, I hope so. Because we Vincentians are who are going to suffer if it's not the case. But what I'm saying to you realistically is that a lot of money is being spent on that project, and a lot of it is loans and debt. So to stop it now, or to halt it, is going to cost us much more in the long run. We need to make sure it is finished as soon as possible, finished properly, and managed properly, and put to maximum use to benefit the country, including money, making money to pay off the debt.
Yes, dear viewers and listeners, we were very clear, we are very clear, we understand the kind of investment that has been put into this capital project, we understand its potential for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we recognize that it cannot just work by itself, we have to develop agriculture and industry in the country, we have to develop our tourism product much more, that would encourage visitors who spend a lot of money to come from far to our shores using the international air access that we will now have when the project is completed and operational. And we also understand that the wisest thing is to see how we can go forward with it and make it work to the best of its ability, because a lot has been invested already and we don't want to put anything to waste. Now take a look at footage. As I'm speaking to you, we actually went back to the project at least 3 other times since that time. The first visit was in July 2013. Then our second visit, was in November 2013. Yes, we actually went with a small team and we had a short visit of inside the terminal building of the Argyle International Airport. We were facilitated by Ms. Jennifer Richardson as well as Director Wang of OECC. He was the director of the project, the aspect of the project pertaining to the terminal building, and he took us around, and you'll see photos of us looking at the terminal building at that time when a lot of work was still being done there. In our third visit to the project, which was in August 2014, 22nd of August 2014, we had a chance to see the groundwork that was being done concerning the river spanning. You know, we have to span the river in order to ensure that we have the length of runway we need, and also at the same time to ensure that there's no damage when the water comes down. So we were able to see a lot of that. The footage that I'm showing you now, the photographs shows us there looking at that. We also were able to see the control tower when it was going up. It's now completed, and just overlooking the terminal building area and so on. So we have been there at different stages and we have seen different things. And in our most recent visit, yes, our most recent visit, which happened to be last week, we visited the project again and we had a tour. I had the opportunity to take my mother, my niece and my nephew. So we took some children with us of school age, baby, and we just looked at what's happening in our country, because this is our country and this affects us as a people, all of us, our children, our relatives, and we took a good look. We asked questions as usual. We made comments. We saw that the river spanning area had developed significantly since the time before that when we were there. The culverts are in and they're basically almost finished. We learned a few things about where they're at. I'm going to mention some of those things to you. We were told, for example, that both turning heads and the stopways are completed on both ends of the runway. We were told that there are 2 coats to go on the runway and that they are at base coat stage. They are doing base coating of the runway. We also learned and saw that the commercial area, that the apron area has 3 parts. The commercial area, we were told, is completed, and there's ongoing work on the general aviation area and the cargo terminal area. Okay? We also learned, for example, about the culverts that they had put in and their ability to bear whatever weight of water and so on passing through. And one of the things we were concerned about is the issue of fencing of the airport. And we were told that fencing material has started to arrive and that small teams will be contracted to be working simultaneously on different portions of the fencing work. We were advised, for example, again, that equipment will be put into the control tower by July and that they hope to complete the river spanning where the culverts are, backfilling and filling material. They hope to complete it by the end of June. We just wanted to share these things with you. Now we're hearing of a completion, well, an operational date of end of year, but we have no guarantee. Remember, in the previous footage you saw, we were being told we could become operational end of 2014, and 2014 has passed and we're still not operational. But communications officer did indicate that this is their hope and that things could happen to change that, but that this is what they were working to. We take note of everything that is said very carefully. But the long and short of it is this. The DRP has evidence overwhelmingly of the attention and interest we have paid to this project, and you have seen it for yourselves. We have not gone with hearsay. We have not just talked what people have said to us or what we heard. We've gone for ourselves. We've seen, we've reported, and this is 4 times now. This has been our 4th visit, the one we did last week. So this is a party you can trust to investigate things responsibly, led by its leader, myself, Anissa Batiste, a party you can trust to work with the professionals and the officials at the various projects, because we recognize that if we get in government, if you give us the opportunity, we actually will have to work with these people. So we have no time to be making irresponsible statements suggesting that either they're not doing their job or running them down in any way. We want to go and see what they're doing and talk with them and understand what they're going through, because it's very important in preparation for taking government and for taking control of such a very important project. So we want you to understand the kind of leadership we have here in the DRP. Not only have we visited the project on several occasions, you see the footage that we've taken, we've asked questions, we've made notes, and we have taken a position that is responsible and mature in light of all that has happened so far, all the investment that has taken place. And we have shown you a lot about the new industrial revolution we seek to create here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines through the ideas of the DRP. And we know that this sort of industrial development in agriculture and also in tourism, the things I said in the earlier footage about non-traditional ways in which we have to develop our product here, our tourism product, in order to welcome and attract certain kinds of tourists who spend a lot of money, and this is what we want. You've heard how I've indicated that we will look into these things so that we can use the airport profitably, not only for bringing and taking tourists out, because that's seasonal, but also for having active and increased exports from our country of products that we have developed right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And therefore there is hope with the Democratic Republican Party. Yes, we have problems. Yes, we have concerns. We, like you, have noted that the airport is not finished when it was said it would be finished at a certain time more than once. That is a reality. We haven't hidden that from you in the footage we showed you. We have concerns about the cost. We have concerns about the debt. What we recognize, however, is that we have to focus our energies on what will we do to ensure it works, because we are already in loans, we already have certain responsibilities, and we have to face them. And we have to face them in such a way, by the grace of God, that we do not add extra burden upon our people. So these are the things that we're thinking about. This is our focus going forward here at the Democratic Republican Party. I hope you have enjoyed our program. We have to wrap up now. But remember, the DRP is scouting for good candidates for the different constituencies. We want people who love people, people who will serve people, people who will work hard, people who will attract all kinds of people, not ostracizing or pushing away some and only favoring others. We are here for the protection of the rights and freedoms of all. So join our team. Come and join the DRP's candidate team, and let us as an alternative party show Vincentians what we can be under a modern thinking, fresh, innovative, creative party with great workable ideas for the advancement of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Remember, you may call us at the number on your screen, or send a WhatsApp message, or even an IMO. The number is 528-1015. That's 528-1015. And don't forget that debate coming up on the 8th of June, that's Monday coming, at the UE Auditorium in Kingstown, the University of the West Indies Open Campus. We'll be talking about the importance of third parties. I'll be on the panel. So come and join us at UE 6:30 on Monday coming for that wonderful debate. We look forward to being with you next week. Until our next program, remember, this has been a production of the Democratic Republican Party, and I am your host and political leader, Anissa Batiste. I love you, and until then, may God bless you.